Hi guys, and welcome to this crazy video of cutting a diamond shape in the shape of a diamond. What actually happened, I bought a piece of crystal from one of my dealers that lives overseas, and this is a crystal, well, preformed crystal from Mozambique. Originally was a very flat, irregular shape, and by the time I preformed it, it came out looking like a diamond shaped piece of citrine. Now, this is the first time I've ever done like my own design from scratch, and I've just got to work with what I've got. So with the magic of technology, I'm doing an edit, and I've marked the back of the stone where the pavilion is. Where X is, X marks the spot. Hopefully that will be the cooler, the point of the stone. Now where I've marked A and B, that was the natural sides of the stone already, so they're already pre-cut by nature. So I've actually got to mark out, I guess, this angle here, and on this side there's got to be another angle, and there'll obviously have to be angles cut over here, and they're all got to form a girdle, and that will take some doing. So I'm not even sure how that's going to be done, because we're dealing with such an irregular shape. I've never seen anyone cut a diamond shaped stone, so this is pretty much a first in my opinion. And from a girdle point of view, I'm not sure how far I'm going to even have to come up. I suspect maybe to about there, so where you don't see the bottom half, that's where the girdle will be coming up to. Now from the top of the stone, I'll probably do some sort of a step cut. That probably won't be too hard, and I'm not even sure whether I'll make that a table also. So this is some crazy idea that could be going wrong. I'll film it anyway, and I'm going to have to get all my notes out and write this thing up, the design, as I go, because if I don't, when I polish and do pre-polishes, I'm never going to remember the angles properly. Okay, I'll just do a quick weight test, and then we'll start the process of cutting a diamond within a diamond. Well, here we have the stone, and I'm weighing it in carats in rough form, rough pre-form. So it's around 35 to 36 carats. So by the time we whittle it down and cut off a fair bit of this stone, I would not think this would be much more than 15 to 17 carats. You're going to lose almost half, 40 to 50%. Well, X marks the spot where the dot will be glued on. So, quick look at some of these angles. This is pretty rough sketch here, but I've worked out the angles. Start off initially with 8 angles. I've whittled it down to 5. Maybe these angles in here might become like the break facets. We'll find out later. So we've got these 5 angles, and this is what makes it really hard. There's no uniformity because of the shape of the stone. So I've got to be super careful that I don't rotate the index wheel on the wrong number. Usually when you're faceting, it goes in an order. So it'll go, for example, 8, 16, 24, and you just follow that particular order. Well, that's not going to happen in this case. It's all over the place. So I need to be very alert and take my time. So my diamond shaped stone is starting to take shape. I'm going to have to start working on the girdle. This top angle, which is actually angle 32, will determine the depth of the girdle. So if I flip it over to the side, the girdle is looking a little bit uneven over on this side here. This facet here, with where my fingernail is, needs to come level. So soon I'll be working on the girdle, and I'll cut to this point here in a minute. It's going to be a little bit uneven, but this top facet, so just back it off, this top facet here, which is actually angle 32 on the index wheel, at a depth of 51 degrees, will determine the entire stone, to be quite frank. I need to cut that down so it hits the cooler, and that will be the quickest of all the facets compared to these bigger ones. But if I cut down too far, that means I've got to cut down over here on the side even deeper. I don't want to do that because I may run out of stone when I cut the crown. So this is looking like it's going to be a step cut, and it will be going in degrees of 51, I believe, at 41 and 31. So we'll see how I get towards the end, because look, 2 step cuts may be enough. I'll just find out, see what happens. I'll just facet and play it by ear. So I've pre-polished the culet to a point, and I think it's come up pretty well. It's almost come up to a polish. That's how well it looks. So I'm going to actually polish that first while I've got my faceting machine set up, and then I'll probably do a pre-polish on the other sides. So off to the next step. So we have the pavilion of the stone fully polished. So on to the transfer block, and we cut the crown. So far so good. So I've got a nice even girdle. All the crown facets are complete. So onto the pre-polish, and then the table, and then the final polish, and hopefully everything turns out. Not an easy project by any means. The girdle was quite difficult. That took a while to get that all leveled out. So let's keep moving on to a few other steps. So the girdle's been polished, and personally I think even on the dot it makes a huge difference to the brilliance of the stone. I don't know where people get this idea. Jewelers in particular get this idea that not polishing the girdle is acceptable, but that's probably part of the industry in itself. A bit of a shortcut in my opinion, but I think if you want the best stone, no shortcut should take place. And next step is to take it off the epoxy. So I'll get the little burner out, then most likely with this amount of epoxy over here, it will need to go into the paint stripper for the final reveal. Okay, on to the next step again. So the stone is finally cut, and I think I've done a wonderful job. So as you can see, it's certainly sparkling in the light. Perfect finish, polish, and it's in a diamond shape, and that's what I intended. And it was a project. Everything was designed by myself to get this cut right. I designed all the angles, and I think this would make a really nice pendant. So here we have the back side of the stone, the pavilion, and I had to sort of reconfigure a point from a stone or a gem that had 5 sides. So most gems come to a point with 4 to 6 to 8 sides, and I had to sort of do a little bit of cheating on this, and as you can see, it turned out pretty well. So this will be able to be fit into a ring or a pendant. So back to the top view of the stone. So I was looking in the jeweler, and I wanted to get this set for my wife as a pendant, but he just didn't have time. And I've got to tell you, this compared to what they are selling in the jewelers just leaves the quality of their stones for dead. This is far better. And not only that, the price of gems, like just even for citrine, you don't get much for under $300. Tiny little stone that's cut in Thailand or India, and they certainly do not cut up to this level, this quality. So I'm pretty happy with this project. So take care everybody. I'll see you later. Bye.